Hello again, everyone, and welcome to my humble kitchen from another angle this time. Today we're going to make a lemon meringue pie, or at least we're going to make the filling. I'm introducing my lovely wife Suzanna here. 34 years of marriage we're going to celebrate in a few weeks. We've made a crust. It's an 8-inch pie crust, and we've done that. We baked that separately because this pie filling goes into an already baked pie crust. And Susanna's really been the expert on the lemon meringue filling. I've showed you how to make pie crusts in 2 other videos, our apple pie video and the pumpkin pie video. So I'm going to let her take the helm for the filling and the meringue. And this is a winner. This one's a winner. It really is.
Yeah,
okay.
This winner thing.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
Well, the thing is when I first met and married Arthur, don't go out of the camera, get over here. His mother told me that his favorite pie was lemon meringue, and that she made it for him.
It still is.
And then, of course, the other one was the strawberry shortcake. We'll have to do that another time.
Yeah,
but the lemon meringue, and so I made a couple of lemon meringues, and in the past I've made them, and they seem to be thin and watery. So I've changed a little bit of the recipe. Now you need to get yourself a good brand of cooking the pie filling, not the instant one, but the cooking one, okay? And so the one that we use is called Mighty Fine. I hope that's okay with us copyright-wise, but anyway, it is the best one, and it has the directions on both sides. Now what I do is I use 2 of these of the package mix, but I only use 1 of the direction for the water. So that's going to be important. So the first thing we're going to do is going to put 2 packages in a saucepan. That's 1, yes, and 2. Then it calls for a cup of sugar, a half a cup of water, but before we put the water in, we're going to put in 5 egg yolks. It only calls for 4 with the 2 packages, but I always put in a 5th one because it makes it that much more wonderful. Then you put the whites in the meringue bowl, okay? Now, this is the way I do it because I was shown how to do this with a lady who made icons, who painted icons using natural ingredients and using eggs that were fresh eggs. You just use your hand to scoop the white off of it and then put the yolk right back in there. That's all you have to do. Thanks, honey.
Take this off for you.
Yeah, it gives me a little bit more room, thanks.
I have to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, you do. So you're just catching the egg, letting the white fall into the dish, and then the yolk stays in your hand. Just drop that right in the pan. Right in your hand.
Wow, that's like a nuclear egg.
Yeah, well, these eggs come from our friend Kathy.
Yes.
And Rick. They have their own chickens, so these are farm-raised eggs. Chickens, they're natural, they're free range. They're not, there's no cages or any of that kind of stuff going on for these chickens. They're pretty spoiled, if you were to ask me. Pretty bunch of spoiled chicken, if you ask me.
You don't have to use free-range eggs, okay? We
No,
just
you
happen
don't.
to be fortunate enough up here in upstate New York to have a bunch of farmers around us, and or wannabe gentleman farmers. And latest thing recently is a lot of people have been raising chickens.
Our neighbors next door have got chickens, and we may get to use some of them because they keep coming in our yard. Now I'm gonna wash your hands. Arthur, you'll start stirring that mixture and add the half a cup of water for you.
Today I am the stirrer. I am the official stirrer. The sous chef. Okay.
I get to be the chef and you get to be the sous chef.
I don't know if they do that in baking. If they have sous chefs or. But in any
We'll have
event.
to ask our daughter Sarah, because she's the one that was the baker at CIA. Adam was our chef, our savory chef, but Sarah was our baker. You got it all good together there, sweetheart?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, so now we're going to...
Yeah, top.
Okay, we're going to use this one here, and now you're going to start stirring and 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 stirring. Keep stirring. Now guess what, sous chef? You're gonna get to keep stirring for a
Okay.
long time.
So you stir this for 4 hours and 73 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it takes probably about 9 to 10 minutes for this to.
Yes.
And what you're going to do, you need to bring it to a full bubble boil. And what's going to happen is it's going to thicken up while you're stirring. You're going to feel it thickening up. Okay, so that's what I do. When I use 2 packages, I use the 4 eggs with plus a 5. Then I use 1/2 cup of water. And then for the rest of it, I only use the 2 cups of water, not 4 cups of water. And that's going to keep the lemon part of it from being watery. Now for the meringue. While he's stirring all that, we're going to get this going too. Okay, so for the meringue, now you find the meringue on the side of the package too. And again, we're doubling it. So we're going to need, I use the cream of tartar.
How much was that? Quarter teaspoon?
So a 1/2 teaspoon.
1/2 teaspoon.
And then I also use what's called a meringue powder. And this one I use half a tablespoon. And this is what this is going to do. It's going to stabilize the egg whites. And so that when you keep it in the refrigerator, it's going to start, it can break down if you're not careful. And you don't want your meringue to break down. Now I'm going to start the mixer. It's going to get a little noisy, I'm sorry. There we go. You want to let it start getting frothy. When it starts getting frothy, you don't have to stir places so strenuously here. Okay, wow, stir it quickly.
I'm exhausted.
Like stir like a racehorse or something. Okay, when it starts getting a little frosty, you're going to gradually add a 1/2 cup of sugar. And continue to get frothy. Like I said, this is one of the things that Arthur's mom taught me. She said that Arthur liked it best, and then she and I talked about changing the recipe just a little bit. I think sometimes you can do that kind of thing if you see that there's something you need to change. And I was talking to my friend Kathy, who gave us the eggs, and she was saying that, that sometimes her lemon meringue gets watery after a while. I said, well, don't use the full amount of water, use half the amount of water.
Oh, you can use more eggs if you'd like the meringue to be higher.
That's what I do. The package only calls for 2 egg whites, so I use 4 or 5 egg whites.
Yeah.
And then that gives it a nice height to the meringue. You don't want a wimpy meringue. You want a nice solid meringue.
Yeah, not transferred much heat yet, but
It's gonna happen.
that's what they all say.
So watch pot never boil.
Well, I can't stir it and not watch it at the same time.
Oh, you want me to stir it for a while?
No, I'm gonna.
This is kind of the waiting game part. But it's been a lot of fun with these videos, getting the videos.
It has been, and we're bringing back holiday memories. We're coming up very quickly on Thanksgiving. Today is already the 17th, and we're hoping that these are instructional for folks out there to make their holidays special and festive. We've got any menu of folks that could be watching, new housewives or people just starting out in their baking adventure. Want to make an impression. You bring these on your to parties as you go into different people's houses as guests.
Oh, that makes me think of a story. My Aunt Hilda used to make a wonderful pumpkin pie. No, excuse me. Pecan pie.
Pecan, that's very
Pecan
southern.
Pie, very southern. We'd all join my mother's and her sisters would join up in Arkansas, at my grandmother's house in Marietta, Arkansas. My Aunt Hilda would bake these pies and then put them in her trunk of her car. She and my Uncle Bill and the cousins would drive from wherever they were, in Mississippi, wherever they were living, over to Arkansas, and I remember always when they drive up onto the driveway at grandmother's house, we'd all get excited because we'd run to see the trunk to make sure that the pies had made it all the way from their house to grandmother's house. It was my brother's favorite. Her pecan pie was my brother's absolute favorite.
Well, fortunately, I'm sure it wasn't a bumpy road.
I hope not.
We took
Although
a-
Mississippi and Arkansas can be kind of bumpy.
We took a pumpkin pie, the one that we made earlier in the week. We took a pumpkin pie to church this morning
Oh, yeah.
with some fresh whipped cream. Nice touch to add fresh whipped cream. If you have one of these, it's not a big deal to make. I add about a teaspoon of powdered sugar to a small half a quart of whipped cream and a few drops of vanilla extract. Adds a little bit of flavor to that as well. And the pumpkin pie was a big hit in church.
Okay, so our meringue.
All we have is an empty plate that we took home with us, and I was
meringue.
lucky to get a piece for myself.
Yes, you were. The meringue is now to a point where it's making those little peaks. So we know that it's ready to go. We can turn off that noise machine.
Is that enough?
That's gonna be fine.
Kiki? Okay.
It'll be fine, trust me.
Okay. I'm quality control here. You know, I have to. This is Arthur's Humble Kitchen, so I get my name on the.
I think it's called My Humble Kitchen, so it can be either one of us.
Okay. Oh, well,
And you don't need to claim it all for yourself.
this is getting warm and it's getting delicious.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my mom would have all she could do, like that. I just didn't eat the lemon as pudding before she put it in the pie.
Yes, oh yes.
This was my favorite part. Which you can do. You know, you could put this in cups and make a really good pudding.
Oh yes, absolutely. Any of these cooking puddings, I love these. We don't like the instant ones because they just don't taste the same.
Yeah.
A nice cooked pudding always tastes so much better.
Well, it does. We
We'll
get
cook
some
the chocolate ones.
natural ingredients in here, and so.
Let me take over for a while.
All right, we got some steam coming up.
Yeah, it's gonna start. As you can see, it's
Come
got that
on,
lovely-
lemon! Come on!
Oh my stars and bars! As you can see, it is a nice color yellow, and it's gonna start getting thicker.
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 Thicker or thicker? Or thicker? Or...
I don't know. I think we'll have to ask some of our English teaching friends to
Okay.
let us know which is the right way to say it.
I think it's thicker.
Thicker. The thicker wrist. I can start feeling. It's starting to feel that thickening portion to it. I can feel it.
These videos that we're doing are also sort of a tribute to my mom, who was an excellent baker in her own right, self-taught, of course. Although my dad,
That's the piece.
my dad was a professional. He had a bakery in the north end of Boston on 39 Cooper Street through the 30s and 40s. Cincotti's Bakery, and it's not a bakery anymore. It's been turned into an apartment. But he worked a brick oven, a coal-fired brick oven with those long peels.
Wow.
And he baked bread through the night. He had to stoke that oven. And my dad, I'm told, was one of the first bakers in the area to use fortified flour.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
And that was quite a time for him. He was a great guy. I was not yet born in 1940 anything. I was born in 58,
Right.
and my dad had moved on since then. He became a pipe fitter with Local 537 in Boston. So I give a shout out to the 537 pipe fitters in Boston. My
Right.
dad was an excellent pipe fitter. He had
your
a spirit
brother?
of excellence, and my brother Carl is
was-
also a pipe fitter with Local 537. But they were excellent parents. They genuinely were good to me. I unfortunately was the rebel and the stinker in,
You were the
in
youngest.
the mix. I was the youngest of 4 boys,
4 boys. Can you imagine? Poor Angie.
and so I at times was not very nice to my parents. But
You can repent of that.
well, you
Be
know,
forgiven.
that's the truth, and there is redemption in Christ and in Christ alone. I'm not doing this to try to make up for anything. That's bad theology. That's very bad theology. But in retrospect, I do want to give a shout out to my parents because they were very good people, Nicholas and Vincenza, and you know, I'm blessed to have had a healthy home and good parents.
Okay, our pudding is now coming into a boil.
I see that.
And it's starting, you can see where it starts to gel. You see that it's starting to have those little glimmeries of glassy looking ice kind of stuff in there?
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
And it's gotten thick. It's getting nice and thick.
Okay.
I'm just going to give it one more stir, because there it goes for its boil. Full boil. All right, there it goes. Good job.
Okay.
Good job. Okay,
Magical
let's bring
pie
it off.
crust appears.
There's that pie crust that he baked for us.
Exactly.
Now the thing that he told me about the pie crust though is when baking it, you have to make sure that you vent the bottom of the pan.
Yes, perforate the bottom of the pan, all right? Otherwise, and we lined it inside the crust with aluminum foil so that it doesn't collapse in on itself and doesn't
Right.
puff up from the bottom. So we
And I know I can't went off screen because I tend to
learned
clean
that, but
while
there
I
she
go.
is. Okay,
All right, so anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this into the pie crust.
nice. Oh, that
Okay.
looks amazing.
And then the thing about doubling the recipe by using 2 packages,
That's
you
an
don't get
8.
this teeny tiny skinny lemon meringue lemon part.
Yep.
I just can't stand that tiny lemon meringue stuff.
Okay, I'll take it.
Why don't you take that for me? Okay, thank you. Now, you let this cool for a little while, and we're going to go ahead and put on the meringue.
I'll clean this for you. Okay, I got
I
it.
know you will, darling. Was he licking the spoon? He wasn't he? Behind my back.
There you go.
Wow. Now you got to give me a
Oops,
clean one.
bend down. Here, I washed it in the dishwasher.
He's such a liar.
Okay, what's next?
All right, next we're just waiting for just a couple of minutes for this to cool, but if you'll come and help me,
Yeah.
you can do this. If you'll hold the, no, stay where you
Okay.
are.
So in a perfect world, you know, we're not editing. We're very real novices at this. But
Yes.
in a perfect world, we would want to
Let
let this cool.
some.
Let them. But we're gonna
Go ahead.
take a chance and see what happens here.
So it's just like pouring marshmallow on top of something.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let go. Now the thing about this meringue is you need to make sure it goes all the way to the edge of the crust and cover the lemon part, because if you don't, it's going to pull away from the crust and the lemon part's going to be exposed. Now here's a little trick. You can make these little peaks with your back of your thing, your paddle or your spoon or whatever you're using, and then in the oven those little peaks are going to brown up and be
Nice.
very nice. You can stick that right in the oven, honey.
All right, so we got a 350 oven.
350 oven
Okay, and how long is this going to go in for?
for 11 to 15 minutes.
11 to 15 minutes.
Until the top of it is nice and brown.
Okay, wow, magic. Look at that. 11 minutes is up. And this is what
11
we've come up with. That is a beautiful lemon meringue pie. And let me tell you, it's delicious too. It genuinely is. I highly recommend this for your Thanksgiving feast. It's
Just
not
remember.
because sometimes folks are intimidated by the meringue. You know, it's not commonly made anymore, but you don't have to run out and buy one. You can make this very easily. We've done this in about 15 minutes. It takes about 15 minutes for the crust as well. And add baking time, maybe 45 minutes total. Let that cool. Let the whole thing cool. You want to serve it nice and chilled.
Right. And when you're waiting, just put it in the refrigerator and let
Yeah.
it cool completely.
And
Completely cool.
my mom gave a little tip, is when you go to cut the pie, wet the knife.
Wet the knife, yes.
And
That keeps it from sticking to the meringue.
yeah, mostly.
Just wet the knife again. There you go. She always did that.
Yep.
I'm gonna go off screen for just a minute.
And get me a dish, right? So that I can have a slice,
Your
right?
pie server. You grab your dish. Yeah, he's always trying to get me out of the screen, I think.
All right.
See how it looks. Oh,
Wow,
now see
look
what I mean?
at that.
See
That
what I
is a
mean?
beautiful.
You got a lot of lemon and you got a nice height on your meringue.
Do we have a fork?
A fork?
Yep.
Boy, you're demanding.
Oh boy, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay, this is a fork. This is a pie, and this is me.
This is Arthur. All right, see how it tastes.
Here you go, sweetheart.
No,
you
no,
go
no,
in
you
first.
go first.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Oh, that's great. There's a nice firmness in the lemon, and my crust is a good,
height,
3/16 of an inch thick or so. So I'm tasting the crust. And the meringue, it's all coming together. That's an excellent pie.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Suzanna is going to sign us out. God bless and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Remember one thing, Thanksgiving requires an object.